you so much for having me here today. I'm so honored to be on the stage. It seems a little surreal, actually. Also, big thank you to Carolyne. Pull it down. Better? Okay. A big thank you to Carolyne. I've been blessed to actually start to work with her over the last 5 months, and I knew she did a lot, but I didn't quite know until I started working with her, and I'm just absolutely amazed. So again, thank you, Carolyne, for having me here. So like she had said, my name is Rachel Hurst, and I am the creator of the Shanti Collective. With the Shanti Collective, I create spiritual jewelry, and it manifests itself in a lot of different ways. But what I wanted to speak about tonight was mindfulness and intentions. And so before I get into talking about what that is, I would be the person in the back standing up with my hand being like, define what you mean by that. So I will define what I mean by mindfulness and intention. Sometimes it's easy to, say these words and not quite have an understanding or maybe a basis for what I'm actually talking about. So I'll talk a little bit about what I mean, and then we can kind of get into it a little bit. But with mindfulness, basically, I think of a mental state in which you create presence. You're aware of something. You're conscious. When I think about mindfulness, I can actually only really describe it in its opposite. So you think of autopilot. I was doing some research, and there was some scientists that said we live our lives 90 to 95% on autopilot. And how I can describe that is thinking about how you drive to work, or even just driving, which actually kind of scares me when I think about driving now, but that's not the point. When we're driving somewhere, we don't actually think about where we're going. You don't think about the route you take or the way you're going to get there. You get there, and often we're thinking about lots of other things. So when you think of that autopilot, you can now attune to what it means to be mindful. When you tap into those moments that are completely, when your mind is quiet and you are completely all ears and all eyes. For me, that actually resonates mostly finding myself in nature. I was on a photo shoot with a girlfriend for the Shanti Collective, and I had just started picking flowers. And I totally kind of got encapsulated by this flower, realizing later that it actually had a ladybug on the back. It's those moments that we kind of tap in and quiet our mind. So now there's the story or the idea of intention, and that's creating purpose. I love that idea, and when I talk about the Shanti Collective, I always say my intention is, or I create intentions with every mala, and that goes to saying when you create a purpose, and that can be something as simple as a mantra that you give yourself either in the morning or even a mantra throughout your week or throughout your month. When I first started meditating, what really helped me was actually using a book. And you can do, there's these books that have 365 days, and you can, you flip to the actual day of the year, of the month, and it gives you some sort of intention, some way that you can kind of live with a little bit more purpose and integrity of that day. And so for me, with intention, it started out meditating with my malas and setting a mantra. And mantras, for me, my mantra this morning was, I've got this, I've got this, I've got this. But when I think about mindfulness and intention, I actually kind of find them completely woven together. You set an intention, and it's in those moments where you actually find yourself being mindful is where you notice your intention actually happening, and you kind of catch your intention, and it comes in this complete circle. So the best way that I can describe this is a story that comes to mind. A couple months ago, found myself slightly frustrated, not frustrated with anything in particular, but just short in temper, and I apologize to Pete for the times of being short. He's back there somewhere. But basically, I set an intention, and this mantra kind of went with me for the week, and it was, I am patient, I am kind. So this intention and this mantra I kept with me throughout the week, and I found myself in the line at my favorite coffee shop, standing there waiting for my coffee. I had 5 minutes left of my break. I needed this coffee. The barista was taking forever. I'm like, okay, come on, how quick does it, we gotta, there's 3 people behind me. I'm getting worried that I'm gonna be late. And this woman cuts in front of me. She stands right in front of me, doesn't look behind her, isn't even aware. And I'm like, how? What? What is this? I am so frustrated in this moment. I lift my hand to go tap this woman on the shoulder to be like, the line is back there, lady. I'm getting my coffee. And my mala hits my watch. And I think I almost dropped something. So I look down. And I look down. And my mala's there. I stop. And I kind of chuckle to myself. In that moment, I completely forgot and was reminded of the intention I had set earlier that day. I am patient, I am kind. Now, in that moment, I was not patient and probably wasn't going to say anything very kind to that woman. So I stopped myself. I looked around. I smelled the amazing aroma of coffee. And I got to peer outside the amazing city that we live in Victoria. I have family in Calgary, so you can understand how much I love Victoria. And I smiled. So now I have a half-raised hand. We're going to tap this woman, and then I have this glassy-eyed stare, and I'm like, and I'm just in my head. And this woman turns around and realizes, and by this time the line has doubled. There's about 6 people behind me, and she's like, oh my goodness, I can't believe I cut in front of you. So by this point the barista is now saying, oh, can I help the next person? What are you guys doing? Hello? I'm like, just go ahead, don't worry about it. And she was so apologetic, and basically she got her coffee. At the end of that, she was so kind and so apologetic, and I felt so much better about not being frustrated and not being short to the get to the back of the line. So that's exactly what my intention was when I started making this jewelry. I wanted to create something that started to give past me. So I'll give you now a little bit of background to the Shanti Collective and what that actually is. If you have never heard of a mala, it is I can't take this off because the mic I was going to, but I can't now. So a mala is a prayer necklace, often and traditionally in Hindu and Buddhist culture, used for meditation. You have 108 beads on a mala. The number 108 is a really significant number in Hindu culture. It's known and revered as the most powerful number. If you say a mantra 108 times, that gives that mantra the most power and the most intent that it can possibly be given. So with a mala, you have 108 beads, and you count them using your forefinger and your thumb through meditation. Now, if you look at the Rudraksha beads, or the beads that I use of the mala, these are actually, I import them from Bali in India, and they are known to harness Shakti, which we said earlier is a spiritual energy. And they're also known to be quite calming to the nervous system, so really they can calm you and create a little bit a sense of peace. So with a mala, when I was creating this new endeavor, I really had a breakdown of what this was for me. It was, first of all, a necklace. We are all, most of us, women and even men, will wear necklaces, will wear jewelry. And I found it so powerful to wear something that wasn't just jewelry. It was something a little bit more. So one thing that it could be is maybe that opportunity to look or dive into meditation, the magnificent world of meditation. And it's opened and created so much space for me in my life, but not only to create a little bit more space and openness, but to maybe open a door that you might not have quite ventured in. For me, meditation was scary, and having something my hands could hold that created a little bit more groundness for me. So having that, some not so fidgety, it really helped in my meditation practice. The other thing that I found was really powerful was pairing them with different semi-precious stones. I know that a lot of you, from seeing you in different festivals and different conferences in the past, we know about that subtle energy that we hold. You know about that way that if you know someone is either hurting or completely extremely happy, when you walk into a room sometimes without even talking to them, you can sense it. What's wrong? Or you have to tell me something? What's going on? Like, you're different. Or when you think about a friend that you had never seen in maybe years, you're thinking about them and you're wondering how they are, and then you run into them on the street 3 hours later. That's that subtle energy that we transmit as humans. And I think sometimes, especially in our modern world where we're so busy and we're so constantly moving to the next thing, we actually can't even hear it. It's completely silenced. So with semi-precious stones and different stones, these semi-precious stones can raise the vibration and can actually create a little bit more of a louder, subtle energy. And it can also create a little bit of a shift in the healing energies that you transmit and also the mala gives to you. So with the intent of creating these malas, I wanted a mala to actually act as an intention in its own right. I love naming inanimate objects. I don't know why. And so when I was getting to make all these malas, I was so excited because I actually got to name them all. And I got to look at what all the stones were and look at what the meanings were behind them, and then kind of gave it its own intention. So with each mala, I mean, they're named, and there's ones like the love mala and adventure mala. This one's the wand mala because it's a little crystal in the shape of a wand, and I also have a slight obsession with Harry Potter that has nothing to do with it. But with my malas, they can hold as some sort of intention. When you put it on and say you need a little bit more love, maybe it's self-love. You're like, I have been loving everybody else and I need love to me, or it's showing more love to other people, whatever that may be, the mala can act as a reminder. So with it, either it's hitting your watch or even just looking down and noticing, can act as that little bit of a reminder to your own intention. So with that, I wrap up just a little bit with saying the Shanti Collective for me is a manifestation of so many things in my life. It's been the growth of wanting to create. I did my undergrad in visual arts, so I wanted to create something and make it go beyond me. Sometimes I felt like if you just created art, sometimes there wasn't more after it that can kind of help people. And with malas, the journey of me making it is one for my own, but then the journey of it being picked up by someone and taken home is a whole other ballgame. And I'm so excited to hear people when they tell me what their mala has brought them in their life. So for me, with the Shanti Collective, I have basically wanted to intertwine the beauty and the peace and calm, but also the mindfulness and intention so that they are in perfect harmony. Thank you. Peace.